Woke up this morning feeling fine. Got that
Dan,
Gosling on my mind. Cisco is playing the way that Watford should. Oh, yeah. Something tells me I'm into something good. Welcome back.
We got us three. This is our audition for next year as well.
Welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to another match preview. It's Watford versus Millwall, this time at Vicarage Road. One more win, as the title suggests. One more win, and Watford are back into the Premier League, and they're promoted back to the top flight. How sweet would that be? Today, of course, I'm your host, Jacob, joined by Sam and Elliot, to discuss what is one of the most exciting games I've felt before a game. I think the other two lads are the same as well. We're just buzzing for this one. It can't come around soon enough. And even Cisco Munoz admitted today that he just cannot wait for Saturday morning. It's a massive day for the football club. And I'm so excited. Sam, first of all, how are you feeling, mate? Are you the same? Just can't wait for it?
Yeah, I'm buzzing. And you know what? It's so weird that I'm just not nervous at all. And as a Watford fan, that cannot be a good thing at all. I'm so excited. I think it'll be the climax to what's been a really strange season to be a Watford fan, and the climax to what I think has been a really, really good run of form, and we're ultimately getting what we deserve, I think. So I just hope we can get over the line, and, those scenes on Saturday afternoon will hopefully be incredible.
Yeah, someone did just say, Pete, in the comments, get your trunks on, boys. I think Watford Council confirmed that the pond had been cleaned. Interesting. Elliot, from your perspective, how are you feeling going into Saturday, mate?
Yeah, really excited. Similar to Sam, the nerves haven't set in yet. I think they will set in probably Saturday morning. But yeah, really, really excited. I don't really get that excited before football match until I'm really in the thick of it. So it feels weird to be this excited now. But I just can't wait for it. And like Cisco Munoz said, Saturday morning can't come soon enough. I can't wait to hopefully be at the game. I've not had it 100% confirmed that I can go, but it's...
Just to jump in there, Elliot, Caroline's just dropped a message in the live chat. Please come on, Elliot. Will you be at the Vic?
I don't want to tempt fate by saying yes for certain, because I don't have complete confirmation. But yes, I think so. But yeah, hopefully I'll be in the thick of it.
Come on.
Hopefully I'll be able to bring some luck, and also bring some little snippets of information from there, and hopefully be able to film the celebrations or film the reactions.
That would be
I'm expecting you, Elliot, to have a flair and a scarf and everything.
If Elliot hasn't got a selfie with Cisco at full time, then the day's a waste. But Robert says in the comments, will Elliot be at the Vic? Full confirmation by the weekend. The thing is, Elliot, mate, people are actually starting to buy into this. Well, I've bought into it.
Yeah,
you at the game equals wins.
It's not actually a thing. Yeah, it's just sheer good ability at home. It's Watford being great at home. The fact that I just happened to not be there when we lost to QPR and on a couple of other occasions. I sort of had a look through the recent games I've been to, and the defensive record as well is amazing. I don't think I've seen a goal go in touch wood against Watford.
That's just ridiculous.
Since about October. It's crazy. But yeah, so fingers crossed that continues. But I just want to make it very clear. It's the players.
He's not taking the credit.
You know what, Elliot? You're a consummate professional, mate. Superb. I've just seen a comment from Dan before we get into the preview. Did you know Cisco joined Shane's Instagram live on Tuesday? Yes, Cisco Munoz, the main man, Watford's head coach, does follow us on Instagram, which is amazing. And he joined Shane's Instagram. Well, he joined the live, put a comment, didn't he, Sam? You were in it, and then he liked it afterwards.
Yeah, what a guy. It's just, I think it just shows, he's properly in touch with the fans. I know it's probably helped the fact that we're not at games, but he's genuinely you can tell he's one of the lads. You want to be on a night out with Cisco, I think.
I want to have a beer with Cisco.
I want to have a beer with him. That is the aim.
Top draw. I tell you what, we'll look ahead into the game, not the occasion, just the game, purely on Saturday. Sam, from your perspective, I mean, confidence levels must be an absolute high at the moment. Is it too far to say that Tuesday night was our best performance of the season?
That's a difficult one. I was thinking about it. I would say yes, because I don't think there was a player out there who put in less than a 9 out of 10. I thought every single man across the pitch was absolutely outstanding, from Daniel Backman to João Pedro. Everyone put in a shift. Even the ones we've been criticising recently, such as William Troost-Ekong, Ken Sema, Craig Cathcart put in a shift at right back. I thought it was what you'd define as the perfect performance, and I'd say it was the best performance of the season, and ironically very close to the home game against Norwich as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Elliot, from your perspective, there were so many pleasing aspects of the Watford performance. From my point of view, it was how complete it was from back to front, as Sam mentioned. Every single person in the team put in a top performance. From your perspective, what was the most pleasing aspect of Tuesday's win for you?
I think it was the intensity that was set from the off. We sort of needed that, and to Luton's credit, it's exactly what they did against us last Saturday, and we sort of matched that against Norwich in terms of the fact that we just hit them from the first minute. We knew that at points in the game we would have to chase things, and we knew at points we wouldn't necessarily be dominating, but actually we showed that we were absolutely on par with Norwich, and we could press them. And I think the best bit about it was there have been times this season and over several seasons with Watford where we can start really well and then it starts to dwindle. And I could see it sort of starting as Norwich began to press. I think they had a couple of free kicks on the edge of the box and I thought, right, here we go. It's starting to slip. And then the level went back up, the intensity went back up, and we've reached even higher heights with how we were playing. And I think it was just the fact that you could see the players' team spirit, you could see the motivation, you could see how much Xisco Munoz was probably on the sideline. I bet his step count was at about 20,000 by the end.
It must be so pleasing,
really,
though, just to see that the application, his game plan was executed to absolute perfection, probably better than he even thought it would be. And that must be so satisfying as a head coach to see that.
Yeah, and Sam, just on that. Oh, sorry, got it.
It's a response from Luton, I think, is the key thing as well, because it's typical Watford, it's typical Championship, the fact that you can put in a performance like that against Luton that was pretty dreadful and then turn it around that significantly. So, yeah, full credit to Xisco Munoz.
Well, exactly. I mean, as you mentioned, guys, with Luton and Norwich, it was chalk and cheese really from the Watford performance. But from your perspective, Sam, what clicked? What clicked on Tuesday night? Was it simply just the change that Xisco made? Was it the game plan?
I think it was the game plan. For me, it was the intensity. I thought we had pretty much had our hands. We were in control throughout the whole game, and I said this on the match reaction. But you look at the first 30 seconds, 5 minutes against Luton, and we could tell straight away. We said it on our group chat, we're not up for this. We're not going to get anything today. And the complete contrast to Norwich, I thought the intensity was really good. We had complete control of the game from minute one, really, and bar a couple of nervy moments towards the end, where Emi Buendia picked up the ball. I thought we looked really, really in control throughout the game, and I feel like that's what really was the most important thing, and the effort levels as well. Because against Luton, all right, it was a really difficult game, but we weren't anywhere near our absolute best. And Norwich it was perfect. I said it already. I thought everything went into place, albeit we probably should have been 3-0 up at half time.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlotte says in the comments, the commitment from every single player was constant for 90 minutes on Tuesday, including the subs. Hardly anyone put one single foot wrong. I think one thing that I took away from it, Elliot, was, as we mentioned about the tempo, the intensity, Tom Cleverley and Dan Gosling really did set that. Now, looking ahead into Saturday's game, would you continue with that midfield three, or because it's a different opponent and probably Millwall will come to spoil the party a little bit more, would you opt for a different approach than Tuesday night?
I think you have to stick with what you've got. They've put in such a strong performance against the best side in the league, pretty much undisputed at this point. I don't think you can change things. I think it'd be very harsh on Dan Gosling because he would probably be the likely candidate to drop out if you're looking at the three. I think it'd be really harsh on him. He got the goal to cap it off as well. So I wouldn't really like to see any changes. I can understand Chalobah's ability being a reason why he should come in, and I understand that he's a very good tackler and you're going to need that against a difficult Millwall side to face. So I can understand the reasoning behind putting Chalobah in, but also from a team spirit perspective, you've got to think about the fact that in a performance like that, you can't really change things unless it's for enforced reasons. They've put such good performance, they need to be rewarded with another start. And the only change I would make is Kiko Femini and Craig Cathcart.
You can't carry on Cathcart there.
It's harsh on Craig Cathcart because he put in such a brilliant performance, and I'm sure the chat, I've seen a little bit have all been talking about how Craig Cathcart did, and they did on the match reaction, and rightly so. But when you've got a player like Kiko Femini, he can't not start in this Watford team. So I think it's going to be something that would be the only change I would make, because the midfield performed absolutely perfectly. They did their role to a T. They kept Ollie Skip quiet. They kept Dow quiet, Cantwell, Buendia. They took over the midfield and they overrun Norwich in the end. So I really wouldn't like to see any changes in the middle.
Sam, for you?
No, I wouldn't change it. I think Nathaniel Chalabar has been exceptional, and I thought we really, really did miss him, particularly in the Luton game, where just his intensity, and he was absolutely superb when he came on the other night as well. Actually had a really good opportunity. I thought we should have done better with. When it hit Tim Krul's legs.
Just to jump in there, that pass to Andre Gray has gone under the radar a bit. That was a beautiful through ball.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to break stride, Andre. That was a great cross.
Grant Hanley as well.
Yeah,
I know this isn't a Norwich preview, but Grant Hanley's tackle was incredible.
Yeah, he was solid. It
reminded me that Grant Hanley tackle reminds me of Messina's in the reverse game. That's really, really good tackle for him. Yeah.
That always feels like just go back onto that. That moment when Messina made that tackle feels like maybe not a turning point, but certainly a moment where we'll look back on the season that it started the Cisco reign with a win. But that Messina tackle just felt like, I don't know, it just clicked a bit, didn't it? I know what you mean. I was saying that there are quite a few moments this season that you can look back on. We'll have to do a video on that. We'll have to do a video.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ones as well. Like I was just rewatching some of our highlights, like not as like a season review or anything. Remember, we scored. It's gone. It's been forgotten a bit. We scored a goal against Stoke that didn't even cross the line. Do you remember that? Right at the start of the season.
Oh yeah,
in the home game against them, it didn't even cross the line. So that's a whole video, I suppose. That there are so many.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the away game. Yeah.
No, I remember that game for all the wrong reasons. That was the game Hive Live completely died, and I Polish stream that had all sorts.
Big shout out to John Marks and Tommy Mooney. They did well there, I thought. Yeah. They were having to watch it out. I remember there was a picture. I think it was on Emma Saunders' Instagram, and it was them watching it through the window. Fair play to them. Sorry, Sam, to interrupt there. Changes for Saturday, if any.
Yeah, so I think the only one really is I bring Kiko back in for Craig Cathcart. Cathcart was superb. I don't think we can take. I feel kind of bad because I feel like we haven't really spoken about Cathcart's performance enough. He was superb, thrown in at the deep end when he's hardly played of late, and amazing. But Kiko's performance levels as link up with Sarr, it's going to be difficult to break down this Millwall side, and probably we need that overlap as well. So yeah, probably the only change I make is bringing Kiko back in.
Yeah, I think we've got to bring Kiko back in, haven't we? The dynamic with Sarr, as Elliot did a piece on the kind of telepathic connection between the two. They both admitted it. Like, they don't even speak the same language. I don't think Kiko speaks a lot of English. Sarr doesn't speak a lot of English, but the footballing language has kind of come through down that right-hand side. Elliot, from your perspective, Kiko, I guess he just has to come back in again at right back, just to kind of clarify.
Yeah, I think he has to. I wanted to actually ask both of you whether you think, because I wouldn't do this personally, but I can understand why you would you put Craig Cathcart in centre half just because of the passing ability? Because he showed a very sort of calm head in difficult situations.
I don't think you can. I think Troost-Ekong, I thought I don't want to say it was a redemption on Tuesday night from a recent, because he hasn't done anything too wrong. It's just been very shaky from him. Back to his best.
He was very good on Tuesday night.
You can't drop him after that. I can actually understand the argument that because Millwall are going to sit off us, we're going to have a lot of the ball, I think, on Saturday, and it's going to be not for pretty viewing again. I think it's going to be a really scrappy, nervy encounter. I mean, unless they perform anything like they did against Bournemouth the other day, they were dreadful. But I can understand the argument giving someone who's better on the ball, giving him at centre half. But again, I wouldn't risk changing that relationship that Sierralta, Backman, Troost-Ekong will have with each other now, particularly at this stage of the season. I know we're all excited, but it is a must-win game because if we lose with our last two games, the pressure's back on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's one of those where if I look beyond Millwall, I'll start to get nervous. And Cisco Munoz was absolutely bang on today in his comments on the website, saying the focus just has to be on Saturday, not looking too far ahead. And he said if we don't keep our focus on the game, we could lose. So I think the message is pretty clear. Get the job done. We're back to the Premier League. Elliot, I wanted to ask you about Millwall, our opposition. What do you know about Millwall? What can we expect from Gary Rowett's team?
Well, there's the stereotype of Millwall that is true to some extent, where they're fighters, that they're really good at really putting the physical pressure on you, and they're strong in midfield, tough tacklers. And I think that is true to some extent, perhaps not as much as in previous years. They're good at keeping the ball. Their away record is actually really good, because I think I've done more look at statistics this time than actually different traits that their team have. I think they're sixth in the away form table, or sixth or eighth or something like that. They're much better away than they are at home. They're in not great form. I think they've lost back to back. They've lost 2 of their last 3. And then prior to that, they had a good little run of form. Their form against the top 6 isn't great. I don't think they've won a single game against any of the current top 6 this season, but they like to get a lot of draws against them.
A lot of 0-0.
They've got more draws than any other team in the league. They get a lot of 0-0 draws. So maybe that's a good thing if Bournemouth and Brentford do draw, because I think then a draw would be enough for Watford, or near enough a draw, I think, with Swansea's goal difference. But it does look like they're in a sticky patch of form. I don't know if maybe losing 4-1 to Bournemouth last night is a reality check, like our loss to Luton was, or if it's one that sort of condemns them further down the table. They didn't seem too fussed, to be honest.
They haven't got a lot to play for, have they, Millwall? They're not going down. They're not probably going to get the playoffs.
They've got no chance of playoffs mathematically. Yeah. I can understand maybe them wanting to get top 10 because they're 11th at the moment, and they're absolutely in with a shout top 10. So maybe that's motivation, but they're not going to get relegated. That's mathematically for definite, and they're not going to get playoffs. So it all depends on whether they'll use that as motivation to chuck everything at it, or whether it's motivation to just rotate and basically give us a free hit. So I hope it's the latter.
Yeah, well, similar to... Sorry, mate.
Good. They've got a good couple of players. I remember Kifton Beld in the reverse fixture. He'd just joined from Birmingham. He's a good midfielder, and I think they had Smith up top who almost scored, and they have a couple of good defenders. They have Jed Wallace as well, who will always be a threat. So there are players to look out for, but at the same time, we've got more than enough quality to win it on the day. Yeah,
it wasn't a classic in the reverse fixture, was it, Sam? At the Den. What I wanted to ask you, mate, is just on Millwall. And the fact that, as Elliot mentioned, mathematically they can't get in the playoff. They're not going to go down. They're very much playing, I guess, for a top 10, but it's pretty much irrelevant apart from kind of the position bonus. Does that worry you a little bit? Not to maybe dampen the mood, but does it worry a little bit that they are purely just coming to spoil the party, really?
Yeah, I think I did actually say when we were doing the preview run-in that the 2 games I was most nervous for were Luton and Millwall, because they got nothing to play for at all except for, ruining the party pretty much. And they really want to stamp authority on this league. I feel like as well, Millwall really aren't far off from being playoff challengers. I think they're a really good outfit, generally really difficult to break down. They just need some more goals in their side. And I feel like probably that's in the back of Gary Rowett's mind, that he can turn around to these players and say, look, we're going to have some additions in the summer, but make sure that you're not one of those players axed. And that's going to raise their performance levels, playing for pride as well, and for themselves. So it does worry me a bit, but we've come across so many different challenges this season, addressed them differently, where teams have been needing wins, teams haven't been needing wins, and we've come across them with flying colours. And hopefully we see that on Saturday. Yeah,
I guess there's some parallels between the Luton game, the fact that both teams don't have a lot to play for. Having said that, though, I think particularly the game being at home is a massive bonus for us, because, as we all know, our home form has been fantastic this season.
Worst pitch in the league against the best pitch in the league.
There we go.
So bad.
Yeah, it was giving me a throwback to the old Saracen days.
Yeah,
where we used to share a picture of those guys. But yeah, I guess Elliot, what do we need to take away from that Luton game? I know it's at home, but the fact that the opposition is similar in the respect that, take away the derby element of it, both teams are looking to come and spoil the party and not be the team that Millwall don't want to be the team that send us up. So what did you take away from the Luton game that we need to improve on in a similar sort of situation to Saturday with Millwall?
I think maybe we need to have a backup plan. To be honest, I think although Luton and Millwall have fairly similar styles, it's difficult to compare because of Luton's motivation in the game. It was understandable. They wanted to chuck absolutely everything at us, and they did, and they deserved the win. And I don't think Millwall will have the same stake in the game that Luton did. So I think to an extent it's comparable, but at the same time there are many differences that I think will turn the tide between Luton and Millwall. So I think we need to have a plan B, because at times they will defend and defend and defend, and we will need to find another way through. We've been quite stubborn at times this season, often going through the same areas, trying to find certain channels where we can break through, and I think that isn't sustainable. So I think if something isn't working, if they're double marking Saar, as they likely will be, then we need to use that to our advantage, shift the ball over to the left, utilise Semmer, who seems to be back in form, utilise Zinkernagel if he does start, or utilise Tom Cleverley, who will hopefully be starting. So there are a lot of things we can do, and it's just about in the moment not getting too frustrated if Saar isn't an obvious option because we do like to play a lot to Sarr. I think getting João Pedro involved in the game is absolutely key because he will likely be shut out in the early stages. And it's just about getting him more involved because
the goal drought is ending. I'm calling it now.
It's definitely
Tomorrow,
ending.
is it ending on Saturday?
It's ending on Saturday, João Pedro's goal drought. Calling it. That's a prediction.
You know what I realised about the Premier League, and this makes me actually want to go up even more. I think the last player to score for us in the Premier League was Danny Welbeck. And I just think, as much as
What was
Danny
that?
Welbeck
Arsenal. Yeah.
Against Arsenal, as much as Danny Welbeck had his moments, I don't think we can have our last Premier League goal scorer or our most recent Premier League goal scorer be someone who was there for one season, barely played for us, and when he did put in fairly average performances. We need someone like Troy Deeney or someone really influential like a Tom Cleverley or someone like that to get that next Premier League goal, because on the record it can't say last Premier League goal scorer Danny Welbeck.
Never forget that overhead kick though, Elliot, against Norwich.
I'm more angry. I've said this so many times. I'm, if anything, quite angry at Danny Welbeck for even attempting that. I don't want to sound like I'm just a complete hate of Danny Welbeck, so I think he's been pretty good.
Elliot's got over it. Don't worry, guys.
It's just in a game that's important to survival. I feel like he shouldn't have even attempted it. He should have just chested it down, waited for it, settled it, and shot. I think in a moment like that, where it's so crucial against another relegation rival, there's no need to overhead kick that. In 9 times that wouldn't have happened.
Isn't it? It's the most Watford fan thing that since we haven't been in the stadiums, we scored 2 overhead kicks and a free kick.
And one of them was Craig Dawson. No disrespect to Craig, but he was the last person I thought would be doing an overhead kick in the opposition box.
Oh, God.
Oh, mate. Sam, looking ahead to Saturday, is it just simply a case, an early goal settles the nerves and we play our stuff? It just feels like if we get the early goal, it'll be a kind of smooth day. If we don't, the longer it goes on, could get a little bit more nervy, right?
Yeah, it's all about the start. I mean, do you know what? To be fair, it all depends on the Bournemouth-Brentford game, because if that's a draw, then I think that will take off a lot of the pressure because we'd only need a point. But, you know, assuming we do need the win, it is all about the early goal and starting well, because if Millwall rough us up for the first 15, 20 minutes, then they could cause us some real problems. We could start to get frustrated. We've seen a couple of times this Watford side can lose their cool when something's not going well for them. So, and Millwall could be that side to get under our skin and wind us up. So it is all about getting that early goal and starting well. Yeah,
just looking at the league table, actually. So let's just assume that Brentford do draw to Bournemouth. They'd played 43 and be on 76. So the maximum they can possibly get is 85.
Which is what we're on now, isn't it?
We're on at the moment, and we've got one better goal difference than them. So it would need a point, and then it would be done. So that is... Oh, mate. You know what, Elliot? I saw you doing the maths on Twitter yesterday. It's actually getting complicated now, isn't it? Well, it's not complicated, but it's just like with the nerve, the excitement, it's doing maths. It's taking me back to the A-level, well, the GCSE exams, mate, honestly.
I'm doing it now, so I'm just immersed in it. I've got no choice but to involve myself in it with A-level maths. The one that intrigues me slightly is Swansea, because if they win all 3, which they don't look like doing, they will be also on 85, but their goal difference will be 14 less. But provided they win all 3, would mean that they would beat Watford, and that does cause quite a heavy goal difference shift. But yeah, Bournemouth, the maximum they can get is 86. So them dropping points on Saturday would be enough. And like you've said, Brentford dropping points would mean that the most they could then get, I believe, is
85.
Yeah, 85, as you've said. So yeah, it's a tricky one, but we just need to win.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. Even kind of just eliminating the maths thing, I've just seen a couple of comments. It's almost just a case of, lads, get the job done. Similar performance to Norwich. I know it's easier said than done. I know it's not as easy as that, but it's weird. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it. I'm so excited for Saturday. I'm buzzing, but I'm confident and I have faith in the lads that we can do it. Like there's been previous Watford teams where, you know, we've had so much talent, but you felt maybe on the big occasion we could drop our performance level, Sam. But for me, I'm confident that we can go out there, and I'm hoping this doesn't bite me in the backside, but I'm very confident that we can get the job done. I've got full faith in this team.
No, I think that's the defensive record as well as our home record. I think having Sierralta back there, Truscon when he's playing well, Femenia, Adam Messina when he's playing well. You know, I saw the stat today that Dan Bachman has been probably one of the best goalkeepers in England statistically.
Yeah, you put a post out, didn't you, earlier?
Yeah. I don't think that was me. That might have been, I don't know, someone else. I'm not sure.
Well, who was it?
Someone else in the Insta. It's yeah. So that's that definitely helps with the confidence. I don't think it's very rare that we see a Watford side give away a cheap goal. I mean, albeit the losing game last week, but from open play, we rarely see us, give away some really bad goals that we've seen from previous Watford sides in previous years. And I think that builds confidence throughout the rest of the team, gives us a solid foundation to build on, and allows us to go forward with confidence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Elliot, from your perspective, just final thoughts really on Saturday. Excited, nervous, mixture?
Yeah, it's just excitement for now, but the nerves will come through, I'm sure. I think I saw a stat somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it, but Millwall pretty much. I think they've held every single game that they've gone 1-0 up in. I think they've either drawn or won. So as much as we've said, pretty much every game for the past 8 weeks, an early goal is massive because Millwall will struggle to get back into it. But also, if they get the first goal, they're pretty good at holding on. So it's massive to get the early goal, settle the nerves, play our way. Don't let the occasion get to us too much. It doesn't sound like they're going to really think about the occasion much. I think they're going to try and get the job done and then think about that afterwards. So, yeah, I think generally it's just get an early goal, settle the nerves, play our way, and we'll be completely fine.
Fingers crossed it's plain sailing. It's Watford after all, so we never know. Sam, score predictions, mate, going into Saturday.
2-0
Pond or no pond?
Pond 2-0 Watford. And Cisco Munoz to sing Sweet Caroline on the pitch.
Love it. Elliot?
I feel like we should be doing Bournemouth-Brentford predictions as well. I reckon Bournemouth and Brentford.
Yeah, I
think Bournemouth will beat them.
I think Watford Mill will be 1-1, so I think it will be enough. Not mathematically, but we'll be all but up.
Oh, lovely. I think
Spice it up.
I think Bournemouth will beat Brentford. I think I'm going to go for that one. I'll go 2-1 Bournemouth.
Sam in his head is already getting this clipped up to put on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm now thinking about it again. I think we would be up if both are draws, aren't they? Not just all but up, but we will actually be up. So, 2 draws, Watford up by the end of Saturday.
Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you what, we'll have a look through your comments. Thank you to everyone who watched today. We really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for the support over the past season. It's been fantastic. Let's have a little look through your score prediction. Joe's gone for a 4-1 Watford, PZ7, so the WD18 celebration as we get promoted. We've got Amy Curtis has gone 2-1 Bournemouth. Melanie's confident. She's gone for a 2-0 Watford. Matt's gone 2-0. Caroline's gone 2-0.
Scoring. I agree.
King, Ken and Isma.
I think it'll be Sar and Pedro to score.
He's calling the goal scorers. Sam's going big for this prediction.
I'm calling it.
We've got another one, 3-0 Watford. We actually got a comment from someone in Turkey. Thank you very much for the comment. We really do appreciate that. That's brilliant. Dan says BZ7 celebration to send us to the pond. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you to everyone who watched. Actually, great question from Aaron. Really, really interesting, this one. Comfortable win or last minute winner, Sam?
Oh, stop. I'm going to say comfortable. I think it's going to be a really scrappy game, and I think pretty much once we get that second goal.
Which one would you prefer?
The last minute winner. I don't think my heart.
Elliot?
But yeah, last minute winner. Why not? I won't have any nails left, but yeah.
Can you imagine Isaac's success last minute winner?
2-0 with Cisco in the pond.
Daniel Backman up for the corner.
Oh my goodness.
Did you see that? The Wickham goalkeeper last night, Stockdale, won the penalty for them in the last minute. I think that's mental.
Unbelievable. Can you believe? Oh my god!
Troy comes on his crutches to take the penalty to send him up.
So I'll tell you what, the reaction just on that, before I forget, the reaction after the Fulham game, the Norwich game, unbelievable scenes in the dressing room. The way Free From Desire was already queued on the Spotify playlist, and Cisco was just blaring it out.
What they started doing? They just started hugging the wall.
Siri Alters literally started to attack the cameraman. I mean, Sars started hugging the wall.
I don't know if you've ever seen that whenever they put out these videos, for some reason, Andre Gray always seems to attack Saar when we win. He just always seems to like going,
Maybe it's a tradition. Maybe it's worked for all these other wins, and he's just thought, well, every time we win, I just have to keep attacking Ismaila Sarr.
Was it
So
the
the next one?
Was it the Cardiff game when they came down the tunnel and Andre looked at Isaac and just started like shaking him like, come on. Superb. Thank you very much to everyone who watched today. We really do appreciate it. Watford versus Millwall, one more win, and Watford are back into the Premier League. Thank you very much for everyone who watched today. If you're watching this back, please do leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to WD18. Fingers crossed we'll be back for another match reaction after a Watford win, and Watford are back as a Premier League club. How good does that sound? Thank you very much. We'll see you very soon. Up the Hornets. Come on, you Hornets. Come on.